Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jen.
And welcome to the house on Avery Road.
Hey y'all, I'm Mark, and today we're doing salsa. Now, I do my salsa a little bit differently. We like fire roasted, chunky salsa. So, what I've got here is a bunch of peppers and onions. I've got some of the Ajvarsky peppers that we grew out there. I've got a bell pepper that we grew out there. I picked up 4 big bell peppers at the farmer's market a while ago, along with something else that I bought at the farmer's. What did I buy at the farmer's? Oh, I bought some garlic and some of these beautiful onions. Now, these was raised in North Carolina. So I got all this at the farmer's market, but I've got my tomatoes over there. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take right now, I've got my grill preheating out on the porch. I'm going to take these and throw these on the grill so we can get that fire roasted flavor all in these peppers and in these onions. Then we'll come back and we'll work on the tomatoes. Okay, this is all my tomatoes that I've got out of the garden. Now, the one tomato that I'm not going to use is this one, because I've got to eat it fresh. That's the only reason I'm not eating that one. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to core these tomatoes, and we're going to roast them in the oven. It's going to do 2 things in the oven, roasting them. It's going to get rid of some juice, because like I say, I like mine chunky and not real juicy. And it's going to give the tomatoes some wonderful, wonderful flavor. So we're just going to cut these, cut the cores out of them, and throw them on these baking sheets and get them in the oven to roast. I've got my oven set at 360 degrees, and these will go for about an hour. All right, now I've taken the onions off. Now I'm taking the peppers off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this bowl in the house and I'm gonna cover it with saran wrap, or as my friend calls it, cling film. And, oh no, there went a pepper. I'll save it. Anyway, I'm gonna cover it with some saran wrap and let these steam and cool off completely, and then I'm gonna take the skins off of them, and they'll have that wonderful roasted flavor that's gonna be amazing in the salsa. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is these have steamed under the saran wrap, and I'm taking the skins off of them because the skins have got that black char, but that's going to lend a lot to the flavor of the peppers for our salsa. Right here, these tomatoes have came out and they're cooling off, so I can handle them because I've got to cut those up. So what I'm doing now is just taking these skins off. And right behind me, I had extra tomatoes, so I just decided to go ahead and put up a few cans of diced tomatoes, and I'm using my Instant Pot to steam can those. Now, you cannot pressure can in an Instant Pot, but you can basically water bath can, and that basically steam can in the Instant Pot. I had to do some research to see if I could, because that Instant Pot is brand new. So it's a trusted recipe from Ball, so that's why I'm doing those canned tomatoes in there. I pulled off 1 pint of juice of those tomatoes, and I got 4 pints of basically diced stewed tomatoes. So that's what's going on there. Now, y'all, this is not a recipe. Like, I don't have a recipe to post in the description. All I've got is this technique. So you see my technique and what I'm doing. So then you can just use that technique for your own salsa if you'd like. But I don't have a recipe per se. Okay, now these tomatoes have cooled off enough for me to handle them, and I'm just peeling off these skins, and I'm tossing the tomatoes, the garlic, and I put garlic in these tomatoes when I roasted them, and you can come a little bit closer to show. the skins just really peel off these tomatoes just like that. So I'm just throwing them down in here. And what I'm going to do once I get these tomatoes in here, I'm going to turn this pot on and bring it up to a boil. And I'm going to simmer it down a little bit so that I can get some juice off of it. Because like I said a while ago, we like our salsa chunky and thick. So I don't really want all that juice. But I'll show you what I'm going to do with that juice once I pull it off. But I'm just getting the skins off these tomatoes and throwing them in with the garlic. Okay, the tomatoes are in here with the garlic. And what I'm going to do is I left them as whole as I could, even though they're falling apart. I want a chunky salsa. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil, just a light simmer. And then once that happens, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ladle and I'm going to ladle off some of that juice just so it thickens up a little bit more. And then I'll show you the next part. I'm going to slice up the peppers and the onions, get those in, show you everything that goes in this, get the cilantro ready, and we're going to be making salsa. Fire roasted, chunky, thick salsa. Okay, so what I'm doing now is after I did these tomatoes, there wasn't a lot of juice, so I didn't have to take any juice off. So I've just been keeping it warm for just a minute, but what I'm doing now is taking all of these roasted vegetables that I did on the grill, chopping these up, and adding them to this pot. So that's the onions and all the peppers. And once I get this done, we'll come back and I'll show you what we'll do next. Okay, y'all come look in this pot. Look how thick and chunky. That's the way me and Wayne like our salsa. It's very thick, very chunky. So I'm gonna put some spices in. Right here I've got 2 teaspoons of salt. Now before I can it, I'll taste it for season. But 2 teaspoons of salt is probably gonna be absolutely perfect right here. So I've got 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of cumin, about a half teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. So I'm gonna sprinkle that in. Then I'm gonna add in a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. Put these things away. I'm going to chop up just a small handful of cilantro. We like cilantro, but we don't want too much cilantro. And just a small handful won't be too much. So, in goes the cilantro. I love cilantro. You know, you're either a cilantro person or you're not. And I actually heard it's got something to do with your brain. You're either born a cilantro person or you're not. I don't know. Some people say it smells like soap. I don't think so. I'm going to reach right here and get my thingamabob. And I'm going to squeeze in, for right now, half of a lime. Because I don't want it too limey. So let's stir this in. I'm going to bring this up to a simmer, and I'm going to simmer it for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to give it a taste to see where we are with the flavors. It smells good. All right, now I've got out my water bath canner because the salsa is a high acid food, so I can easily water bath can this. So I've got the water bath canner. It's rolling because I've got my jars in there. The jars are sanitized. I've got hot lids back here. You hadn't got to do hot lids anymore, but I've always done that. So what I'm going to do is get the salsa, and I'll put it right here, and we're going to get ready to jar this up. So I'm going to take my jars out of the canner. Where's my jar lifter? Right here. Take my jars out of the canner and empty these. I'm not sure how many I'm going to get. I'm going to guess and say I'm going to get about 4, maybe 5. I also put 2 jars of those tomatoes that I did a while ago in the Instant Pot. I went ahead and put those back in the water bath canner because they didn't seal. I had 3 that sealed and 2 that didn't, so I said, you know something, I'm just going to process these for a little bit longer. So there's 4. I'm not going to use all these jars. I don't know why I felt the need to sanitize this many jars. But y'all, what I want you to do is, if you've never canned before, canning is so much fun. I want you to go and research how to can. I'm not telling you how to can, but you can. Yeah, that was that. Anyway, somebody's phone's ringing. So right now, I'm going to get ready to fill these and put them over in the water bath canner. And Wayne's going to help me. All right. Now, as I fill these jars, Wayne is going to take and wipe the rims with hot water. Hot. Wipe those rims to make sure that they're really good and clean. And we're going to get these in the water bath counter. Let's see how many we get. This smells amazing. We're going to leave 1-inch headspace. Here. All right. I'm filling jars, and Wayne is going to put lids and rings on. Y'all, I can't tell you enough how outrageous this smells. And I tasted it. I had to go ahead and put more salt in. Bubbles out. That's too much. I'm going to remove some. It's chunky, it's thick, exactly how we like it. Here's that. Where's the lids? Y'all, I'm making this salsa here not to eat in the summer, like right now, because I can make a garden fresh salsa, and if you want that recipe, just leave a note down below and I'll show you how to make garden fresh salsa. But this, we're canning this for the winter. And I'll probably do another couple of runs of this so that we'll have salsa for the winter, because we ran out of salsa when, Wayne? About January? Something like that?
Something like that.
In the jar. But there will be salsa to eat, because this is going to be the last jar. 1-inch headspace. And I've got a little bit left over that we can eat tomorrow with chips.
Who would eat that?
All right, we've got the water bath canner going, and since I'm above 1,000 feet, I'm gonna go for 20 minutes. If you're below 1,000 feet or at sea level, you can go for 15 minutes, but I have to add an additional 5 minutes, so there you go. And I'll show you what they look like when we take them out. Okay, so the timer just went off. It's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna cut this off, let this sit here, and you know something? It's in the water bath canner. It's not gonna hurt it to sit there. I'm gonna let this come down for about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna take the lid off of it and move it over to let it cool for 24 hours. All right, before we take this out, and I cut the heat off, it's been sitting there for about 10 minutes, but before I show you the salsa, look at this chicken, y'all. I told you the Instapot was new. what I did is I pressured this chicken, and then I used the air fryer, because I got a air fryer Instant Duo, and this onion, and I crisp it up. Get some. I'm gonna show you. This is not a air fryer video. The chicken is perfect. The onion is sweet. Look, I may have to start doing some Instant Pot videos. Who knows? But for right now, let's put that away. I'm gonna take the lid off this. It's been sitting here for about 10 minutes. And we're gonna take the salsa out.
Got a towel?
Y'all, it is gorgeous. Chunky, thick, delicious. The roasted vegetables that I did on the grill lends so much flavor to this salsa. It's gonna be wonderful in the winter. So I'm gonna take this out, put it on my towel, let it cool for 24 hours. Pardon me. Let me swallow my chicken. So good. Okay. Awesome. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment box, subscribe to the channel, and I want to thank Zach and Jen Stivers for introducing this video. It's so awesome. I love them so much. So until next time, talk to you later. Bye!